Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring a really fascinating stack of material, all centered on meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about just, sitting on a cushion to empty your mind.
Not at all.
We're going deeper into something the sources call dynamic meditation or theming.
Right.
Most people think of meditation as a way to escape, right? You sit still, you detach, you breathe. You basically check out of your problems for a little while.
It's used as a kind of mental tranquilizer.
Exactly. But what if that's missing the whole point? What if meditation is actually the opposite? A tool for proactive engagement, for actively reprogramming your own mind.
That is the absolute core distinction these sources make. Look, if all you're doing is closing your eyes to escape, then yeah, it's an anesthetic.
It wears off.
It wears off and nothing is actually changed.
Yeah.
But if you learn how to close your eyes to see deeper, to see how your own mind works, well, then it stops being a retreat and it becomes a control panel.
A control panel. I like that.
And that really brings up the central question for you listening to this. Are you just going to let life happen to you, just throwing it all up to chance? Or are you ready to actually train your brain to serve what you want?
That feels like a huge shift in the power dynamic.
Okay.
Let's unpack that. This idea of moving from being, I guess, a victim of circumstance to becoming what did the sources call it?
The inner architect.
The inner architect.
Right.
And that starts with getting away from that victim mentality.
It has to, because the victim mentality is always looking outward. It's my boss is the problem, the economy is the problem, I just have bad luck.
All the energy is spent on things you can't control.
Precisely. You're just reacting all day long. But the inner architect, well, they know they can't control the traffic, but they absolutely control their internal state in the traffic.
So they ask different questions.
Totally different questions. They stop asking, why is this happening to me? And they start asking, number one, okay, what part of the story can I actually change?
So not the external event, but maybe my reaction to it.
Exactly. And that leads to the second question. What internal state do I need to create before I walk into that difficult meeting? Do I need calm? Confidence.
Instead of just walking in tense and defensive.
Right. And then the third, and this is the key, what's a positive outcome here that I can actually genuinely believe in and expect? You're choosing your own mental software before you run the program.
I like that phrase, genuinely believe in, because this can all start to sound a bit abstract, It can. So to ground this, let's get into the practical stories from the sources. They give these great everyday examples of how this works.
Yeah, these really demystify it.
Let's start with something we've all done. Losing your keys. The sources talk about this man who was always misplacing his car keys.
And his default mode was immediate panic.
Oh, totally. My brain is terrible, I'm so forgetful, and they're just tearing the house apart in a complete state of stress.
And that stress is it's a guarantee you won't find them. Your thinking brain just shuts down.
Right. So after he learns this technique, the keys go missing, and he does the opposite.
He stops. He just sits down, takes a few breaths, and gets into that state of deep, conscious relaxation. Then he visualizes the last time he remembers holding the key, and the detail here is everything.
It's not just a vague idea of the key.
No. He's seeing the corner of the table, he's feeling the weight of it in his hand, he's noticing the mail he put it down next to. He is rebuilding the sensory data.
It's like he's accessing a file he didn't know he had.
That's a perfect way to put it. The data is there. So he opens his eyes, walks straight to that table, and there they are. The sources say this worked for him something like 90% of the time.
Wow. So the issue was never a bad memory.
It was not knowing how to access the memory.
Okay, that makes sense for data retrieval. What about the second story, the student with the quiz?
Mm-hmm.
He knew the quiz was on a Wednesday, but he couldn't remember if it was this Wednesday or next Wednesday. And he didn't want to ask his friends.
Right, that feeling of looking unprepared. So instead of texting someone, he uses the same technique. He gets quiet, relaxes.
And he visualizes the classroom.
He visualizes the classroom. He tries to hear the teacher's voice, to see the whiteboard. He's not trying to guess the answer. He's trying to replay the moment the information came in.
And it goes back to him.
It surfaces, clear as day. He sees the note on the board. Quiz, next T Wednesday. Again, the information was already perfectly stored. His conscious, anxious mind was just blocking the signal.
Okay, these two stories I get. They're about accessing your own internal data. But this third one, the taxi driver.
Yeah.
This is where I think people might get skeptical.
And they should. It's important to question this.
So he's sitting there waiting for a fare, getting angry about the slow day. His default state is, scarcity and resentment.
A very low frequency state.
Right. So he starts using dynamic meditation, he relaxes, and he visualizes picking up a very specific kind of customer.
An ideal customer, someone with a lot of luggage going to the airport, a big fare.
And the sources say the key wasn't just the picture in his head.
No, that's the most important part. It was about fully feeling the emotions, the feeling of gratitude for the good fare, the sense of ease, the flow. He'd repeat that feeling 3 times.
And then, a customer with luggage going to the airport appears. I mean, come on. If that happens once, it's a coincidence. The sources say it happened repeatedly. What's the mechanism there? It feels like magic.
I get it. It really does. But the source material is very clear. This is not a magic spell. He's not telepathically summoning a person into his car.
So what's happening?
The visualization is changing the driver. When he's angry and resentful, he's putting out this agitated energy. He's probably not noticing subtle cues. He might even look unapproachable.
Okay.
But when he shifts his internal state to one of gratitude and positive expectation, his awareness expands. He's calm. He's open. He becomes a magnet for the opportunities that are already flowing around him. He's just tuning himself to the right frequency to perceive them.
So he's increasing the probability of a good thing happening, not forcing it to happen.
You've got it. It makes it less mystical and much more about psychological strategy. And this is why the sources insist this isn't just daydreaming. It operates under very specific laws.
4 laws of mental reprogramming.
Exactly. These are like the physics of the system. They explain why it works when it does and why it doesn't work if you miss a step.
Okay, this is important. Let's go through these because this is what separates it from just, wishful thinking.
Right.
It starts with law number 1. You must truly desire it. The term is kaukat.
Deep, genuine desire. Your mind seems to have this built-in relevance filter. It's not going to waste its deep computational resources on trivial things.
So if I try to visualize that the next car I see will be blue, it's not going to work.
Your mind just shrugs. It doesn't care. But if the desire is connected to your growth or healing or service...
Like having a better relationship with your family.
Yes. Or solving a really tough problem at work, or having a difficult conversation go well. If it's meaningful, the mind says, okay, all systems go, this matters. The energy is made available.
So desire is the fuel. Then law number 2 is belief. Phaeton. You have to believe it can happen.
And this is more than just optimism. It's crucial. If you're visualizing success, but deep down there's a little voice saying, this is impossible, you'll never pull this off.
The whole thing is canceled out.
It's completely neutralized. It's like putting a thin coat of paint on top of deep structural rust. The belief has to be well-founded. You have to see a plausible path, even if it's a difficult one.
Which leads right into law 3. Expectation. Phi Day. The sources say this is the one most people miss.
It's the final piece of the puzzle. Expectation isn't demanding. It's a state of active receiving.
How is that different from belief?
Belief is knowing it's possible. Expectation is knowing it's on its way. It's the attitude of the farmer who plants a seed.
Right. They don't dig it up every day to check on it.
Exactly. They trust the process. They did the work. They planted it correctly. They tended the soil. Germination is now just a matter of time. You walk into your day with that quiet confidence.
Okay, this brings us to the 4th law, which I find the most fascinating. Law number 4. It cannot be used for harm. Kongduk dung delem diohai. What happens if someone tries to use this to, hurt someone?
This is where the system is beautifully self-regulating. It's not about some cosmic karma. It's pure psychology.
No, so.
The deep meditative state is, by its very nature, a state of internal coherence and harmony. Everything is working together.
Right.
Malicious intent, aggression, jealousy, revenge requires a state of internal conflict. It's a jagged, disharmonious frequency. The two states are fundamentally incompatible.
So you can't hold both at the same time. It's like trying to tune into a clear radio station while blasting static.
That's the perfect analogy. The system detects the dissonance. If you try to force a harmful visualization, one of 2 things will happen.
Oh, yeah, they.
1, you'll just get thrown out of the state. You'll suddenly feel agitated, your mind will race, and the focus is gone. Or 2, if you really persist, you'll create a massive internal disruption. Headaches, stress, actual physical discomfort. The system self-locks to prevent misuse.
That's incredible. It's like an ethical failsafe built into our own consciousness.
It seems to be. The practice is designed for construction, not destruction.
Okay, so with those laws as the framework, let's get practical. Let's take that difficult meeting we dread. How do we use this to shift from victim to architect?
You use the three-step process from the sources. It's a clear technique for overwriting the old negative mental map.
And you do this in that deep, relaxed state.
Yes. Step 1 is playback. You have to replay the negative scene you're afraid of. You see the angry boss, you feel the anxiety, you have to face the old map first.
Wait, why would you do that? Why not just jump to the positive?
Because you can't delete a file you haven't opened. By replaying it in a calm state, you're looking at it objectively. You neutralize its emotional power over you.
Okay, that makes sense. You acknowledge it. What's step 2?
Step 2 is shift and construct. You literally visualize pushing that old scene aside, and then you start building the new one. You see yourself calm. You see the other person being receptive. You visualize clear, effective communication.
You're scripting the positive interaction.
You're scripting it, and more importantly, you're feeling it. Then comes step 3, the harmonious outcome. You build a final scene where it all ends well. A handshake, a smile, a feeling of mutual relief.
You're cementing the feeling of success.
Exactly. And now your brain has a new map. It's not a guarantee the world will follow your script exactly.
But you're no longer walking in pre-programmed for failure.
You are walking in carrying a totally different frequency. Less fear, less defensiveness. And people can't help but respond to the energy you bring into a room.
So, connecting this all back, passive meditation is about taking a break from life, a temporary rest stop. But dynamic meditation is about preparing for life. It's about building a better mind to meet the world with. It's the shift from living by inertia to living with intention.
It's the difference between finding temporary peace and building permanent capability.
So for anyone listening right now who wants to start doing this, who's tired of just reacting to their day, what is the one simple thing they can do tonight to start?
Start small. The easiest entry point is what the sources call the pre-sleep practice.
Okay.
Tonight, before you go to sleep, just think of one small, annoying thing from your day. A little misunderstanding, a rude comment you heard, a moment of frustration in traffic. Nothing huge.
Just a point of friction.
Just a point of friction. And as you're lying there relaxed, first just replay it. See it as it was, then immediately rebuild it.
How you wish it had gone.
Exactly. See yourself being calmer or saying something witty and constructive or just letting it go with a smile and really truly feel that new, better outcome as if it really happened.
You're training your brain night after night.
You're teaching it in a very gentle way. I am not defined by my reactions. I am the designer of my responses. That tiny shift is the beginning of everything.
That's really powerful. The practice doesn't promise you control over the world, but it gives you back control over yourself. It removes that feeling of being helpless.
That's the goal, internal freedom.
If you feel like there's more potential inside you than what you're currently using, maybe this conscious, non-superstitious practice is the way to start unlocking it. A lot to think about there. Thanks for diving deep with us.